All right, we're at another awesome site here in southeastern Pennsylvania. This is a Serpentine Barrens, which has a very interesting plant community. You can see there's lots of grass, lots of open areas, and some very interesting tree species. One being the Dwarf Chincopen Oak. Doesn't get very tall because of the poor soils. This is just a smaller species. Another one just happens to be right here. This is a Blackjack Oak. You can tell by the 3 lobes and the skinny base. Both in the red oak family. You can tell by the bristles on the tips of the lobe. Blackjack Oak get much larger than Dwarf Chincopen. There's also post oak, which there's one down this way. There's actually some really neat, this is a Serpentine Aster, only grows in Pennsylvania and Maryland. I'm not sure what the actual population is, being as it's such a small distribution, but it seems to be doing very well here. Here is a post oak. This one's in the white oak family. I have to find you a good leaf. You can kind of see it's in a cross shape. The younger leaves are not good representations. You can see this doesn't look very cross shaped. This one has a pretty good shape to it. But if you look higher up on the tree, you probably won't be able to see in the video, but it is definitely a post oak. Very cross shaped leaves. Oh, here's one. I can't quite reach, but right here. That's a pretty good representation of the leaf. This trunk is not a great representation either. Usually has very splotchy bark, chunks are peeling off. But this is a pretty neat tree in that it looks like it was open grown for many, many years. So you can see that fire was relied upon many years ago when this tree was first sprouted. You can kind of see from the surroundings, everything is pretty open here. You can see more back in the shade where the trees are a little denser. The understory becomes a little thicker. Greenbrier being one of the worst. But you can see how, large overstory trees, not a whole lot in the understory. Kind of the same thing over here, large trees, nothing really in the understory except forbs and grasses. Lots of forbs actually. There's lots of flowering plants down here. Pitch pine, which is another kind of rarity down here in southeastern Pennsylvania. But you can kind of see, this is all grass and forbs. You could see how this side could look very similar with the little addition of fire. There must have been some disturbance in here. I can see some trees down here in the back. I don't know if a fire did get in there or if they had, bulldozed some trees out to kind of recreate the Barrens look, because it's pretty interesting once you get down in there. It actually looks very much like this path. I'll get down in here in a minute. But let me get to another area here and we'll pick back up. Alright, here you can see the Barrens soil a little better. This is what I really don't understand about these Barrens, is just water everywhere coming out of the substrate. Which just makes it really interesting. Like there's swamp thistle and field thistle side by side, which is very uncommon. Usually field thistle likes it very high and dry, and swamp thistle obviously likes it very wet. But you can see, just rock popping out of the ground everywhere. This is all serpentine stone. Little blue stem, Indian grass, very common. And you can see how, this wouldn't be very connective, so if a fire did come through here, you might burn this little patch, might not make it through these stones to get over this patch. So eventually, over the years, you might have a tree pop up in here. Actually, just saw one here. Pine tree just popping up. I don't see many oak right here. Oh, there's one. Looks like a post oak just popped up. But you can see how very open it is. I mean, compared to the rest of southeastern Pennsylvania, this is just very, very open. But most of the overstory trees are oak trees. Some cedar trees, a little bit of pitch pine. Actually, quite a bit of pitch pine. But thanks for coming along. It's just a really, really cool site to come and check out. A lot of very rare plants, very uncommon plants to find in Pennsylvania.